Truex will be okay. Let's see what happens. That's Junior in back of him, but it's hard to say how that got started.
You know, Darrell, that's coming off turn 2 over there. That's a lot of times a place where the driver really has to get out of the throttle. We already heard Truex car say it was sliding around, so you just wonder if he's out of the throttle, but Junior didn't realize it.
This look should give us a little better indication. Here's what happens to Kenny Wallace.
More likely the car's pushing. He's running so high, the car's probably pretty tight for him, and that's
number 4.
Looks like the Hemphill looks like he had a problem of some kind, and drew the 36 car into him. Actually, let's take a look at it and see what happened here. This is back in the pack. Cars get a little loose, start bouncing off each other.
John Wood in the 47.
Curtis Davis.
That's pretty much at pit road entrance. That tells me that Tony had to be at the line. I don't know if he was passed or not.
Checkered flag has waved for Tony Stewart. He and Kevin Harvick drafted together to the front to win.
Motorsports, Chevy replacing Kyle Busch, who was second in points a year ago.
Man, it's going to be so awesome. I'm so excited to get to run out here in California and to get to follow someone like Kyle.
Boston excuses, trouble on the racetrack. We'll be right back with you.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin out of Chesterfield, Virginia. Was up among the top 5 at pit stops. Whoa, boy, Walker gets Menard and around Walker goes. Caution. Ouch.
Yikes, coming back down the hill. Whoa.
That's when it gets real dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Tyler would have been well advised. See, he got a little shot there from the 27 car. He'd been well advised to let those two guys race off in there, and he'd have woed up a little.
And, you know, we talk about that 3 wide. This racetrack's 75 feet wide, but all it takes, remember, they're over.
Sterling Marlin down underneath the 43 car. Looks like he might just clipped him.
Just ever so slightly.
Got him turned around and into the outside wall.
Darrell, you know the theory that I always heard people preach, when you go to get loose and you're about to spin out, turn the wheels to the left and take your hit and spin out. Guys are not doing that. They're trying to correct it, and it's going back to the outside wall.
Exactly. It's an instinct, and unless you've got a lot of practice, it's hard to think about turning those wheels to the left.
Started happening where it happened, DW, about the middle of the backstretch, and he just kissed the wall with the right rear.
Now, it's not down on for most of these cars and drivers, not without incident. Michel Jourdain got a little behind in his steering, took the rear end off the car. Jamie McMurray ran wide of the final corner and tore the left side off his Dodge. Carl Edwards, chicane, wall. Very, very hard hit. He's in a backup car.
Looks like you already had the damage, and that may have been what cut that tire down. The quarter panel, you can see it all sticking out.
Here's what happens to Michel Jourdain. He gets tagged by Carl Edwards.
Yep, that's Carl behind him in the 60.
Ouch. That's 2 hard hits this weekend for Jourdain.
Gets alongside of him there. But how many times have we seen that? Turn 1 and around turn 2 there, people get spun out. What usually happens on a road course is as it gets down near the end of the race in this kind of heavy traffic with these restarts after cautions, we're going to have a lot more cautions.
It was Cook's left front that sent Ron Fellows around and into the wall. In place.
He's got a nose under Barrett. He thinks he does anyway, but then he realizes he's going to run into the back of him, locks him up, spins it around.
And Murray's way out there in turn 4. Way out there. Here comes trouble.
Yep. He knew it.
You could see him lock those front
He knew it.
The law of physics was taken over. Look at Hornaday in the 33.
Back comes around, and no contact from anyone. Car was just real loose.
No, Scott Riggs had to whoa up and stay off him in that 30 and did so. And Jourdain put it pretty hard into the safer barrier. Watch the yellow car.
It's a hard lick. This is what was just
that's
so
the one
close. There they go.
Trouble turn 3. Paul Menard had to hit the brakes to avoid a car that suddenly slowed in front of him and paid the price.
I'll tell you who did a great job of getting through there was Reed Sorensen. Holy cow.
Straight to his pit as that tire goes down.
Yeah, I don't think it, I'm sure they would have held him because he went on pit road illegally. That's my guess.
You know, I wonder if his tail end of the longest line or would they hold him a lap?
Probably
it's
either
a
way.
moot point because he kept going.
Either way, I don't think it matters.
We saw the points a while ago. Justin Labonte, the 44, came into this race 9th in points.
Good bit of damage to both those race cars. Certainly the 44 of Labonte and Hornet.
Get it too low though.
This was right. It's a quad oval here on the front stretch, and it was headed into the second part of the quad oval.
They were battling for about 13th place. When that happened. Come on to pit road, get that car fixed.
Well, I think it's a matter of maybe just not a quick enough communication between the spotter, the crew chief, and the driver, because the penalty for pitting too soon before pit road opens is the rear of the field. So you
Hear him playing with the throttle.
Yep. It's a hard lick.
Whoa, baby.
Just came around with it.
Just got her up there in no man's land.
And then ran out of aprons.
He will understand this probably as good as anybody. I think he jumped the cushion.
Boy, Denny Hamlin in the 20 car just barely gets by. Everyone behind him drives through this cloud of smoke.
Matt's got to look under him coming here, and I think Matt got his wheel, maybe got off of the track just a little bit and started to wiggle and got into the back of David big time.
That missed by inches being a big multi-car wreck.
Yes, it did. That's a shame.
So really I'm happy with our effort there.
You're going to call Rusty and let him know that?
I think he just had a wreck.
Sounds that way. Oh dear, we'll go back upstairs, Steve.
We sure did, Dick. That's Damon Lusk in the 85.
Up to high gear.
Like it's basically the same thing. He came off
All the way up on the straightaway.
Everything looked pretty good. Now we're checking that replay.
Not sure about
that. Car turned to the right.
Yeah,
Larry.
it's like it made a little turn to the left and then hard turn to the right. He was in the middle of the straightaway. There was no abrupt turn neither direction. A hard lick. Now, this is what happened coming to the caution. Johnny Sauter in the 1 car, yellow transportation car, gets in the back of Carl Edwards in the 60. Fortunately, Carl does not hit anything, but he's probably going to lose about 13 positions through all that.
It was Stuart Kirby.
May have got a little bit of help from that car behind him.
You don't need much help at that point of the race.
No, when you're up there in that second groove especially, I mean, you're like on ice up there, so all it takes is just somebody just barely leaning on you, just like we saw with Shane Mill a while ago in the 32 car. No one even got against him, and he almost lost it. See Aaron Fike in the 66 car on the bottom of the racetrack. Car wiggled with him, went up the racetrack right into the side of David Strimmy, the 14, and it's a chain reaction from there.
John Wood had some damage to the right front corner of his race car on the 47.
I saw our points leader, Carl Edwards, once again barely getting by down through the grass in the 60 car.
There's another look.
And I know David Strimmy in the 14, I'm sure he will be upset, but as you could see, Aaron Fike, just when he got in the car, in the throttle, his car wiggled, and up the racetrack it went. Bottom, back in the throttle, car wiggles right here, he corrects it and gets into the left rear of Tim Feedaway. It's basically the same thing that happened to Strimmy a while ago when Aaron Fike in the 66 car wiggled and jumped up the racetrack coming off turn 4. And once again, Carl Edwards' big adventure continues. In the 60 car, he just barely gets by. You see right there, each car wiggled, he corrected, and it gets to the side of his teammate, Tim. Just takes the rear downforce away. Now, this is Paul Menard in 11 up there in the second groove. We've been talking about it, no grip, hard into the outside wall, lots of damage to that car. You miss your mark, by half a car length, especially from the center off, your car's going to take off and up into the wall it's going to go.
Well, that race car
Going down the backstretch into turn 3. Goes in there, gets on the apron a little too much, possibly got the brakes up into the outside wall and win. I mean, that's a very tricky part of the racetrack, and he's just trying too hard. And he is one of the go home.
See everybody fighting for the bottom. Looked like Tim Fiedel with a 12 car went up the racetrack and got into the left rear of Randy LaJoy in a 34 car. And we're lucky we didn't have more cars involved. You see Paul Menard in 11 just barely squeaking by. Looked like someone did clip the 12 car there.
It was Brett Sherman got into him. A bit of work right there. Looks to me like he may just got lost. This man lost it right in the middle of that corner instead of Johnny Sauter getting in the back of him.
Look at all the cars splitting him high and low. Matt Kenseth in the 17. There you see Dale Jarrett in the 90.
Got a little bump and grind here going, okay, chain reaction. Chain reaction.
Sterling Marlin ran into the back of Stacy Compton, the race leader.
He never hit him. He just got loose going off in the corner on a lot older tires and maybe trying to overdrive the car, trying to do what he needed to do, and that's stay out in front of that leader.
Yep, spotter. I'm not sure if Shauna wasn't just loose around in the corner and then Raines got there.
Michael Waltrip got in the back of Ashton Lewis when he came up off that corner and spun him around.
Car on the outside there. There you see it. He's got his car pinched down, and Jarrett's momentum carries him into the back of the 0.
That's Bristol racing right there, folks. That's what happens. You try to give a little bit, but all of a sudden, this racetrack is not as big. Johnny Sauter follows the 72 car back down in the corner, right in the middle of the corner. Bam!
Wasn't much, but it was enough to speed you run here to send you around.
You know, you corner with such force here at Bristol in these banking. John Wood just behind.
That was a hard lick by Justin
Labonte. He flattened it. And again, Larry, thank goodness we got those safer barriers.
Carl Edwards knifed his way through traffic, and Martin Truex just bounced off the wall. And up goes Jeffrey Bodine to the fence. Stremmy's going to go there too.
Blake Feast in the 5, J.J. Yaley in the 18. Several cars come down pit road.
I'm sorry, you're correct.
He goes off down in turn 1.
Contact.
He definitely got some help.
From Jarrett in the 90.
Just coming off turn 4. Just gets into the left rear quarter panel. Dale Jarrett gets a little bit sideways, and Shane Mill pretty much gets into the left rear again. And then, of course, Michelle Jourdain comes along. Hard lick right there.
Shane Mill has showed no patience over these last 20 laps. He moved Kenny Wallace out of the way.
Stretch, and she's a go or go home car.
She's too high.
Right there. And yeah, she was about a half a lane too high. And it just comes around, and this is a hard hit. Thank goodness for the safer barrier.
Take a listen to this.
Ooh. That is a hard lick.
That's a lick and a half right there, guys.
And that's why Kyle Busch, who's having a limited deal.
Whoa! Hang on, bro. And he backs it in the fence. Now, what's bad about this, he is a go or go home car, so this will be one of the cars like Shauna Robinson that will not make this show.
Tony gets into the back of him, and then Tony gets run into from behind. That may have been Reed Sorensen that got into the back of Tony. I can't tell for sure. We'll have to get another look at it.
Effort ever, and starting 4th. He's alongside Jerry Robertson here.
I think that car just hadn't been that comfortable for Justin all day. He's been struggling a good bit. Around she goes.
Boy, Brent Sherman just snuck through there on the outside.
Looks like he got up into the 78 car of Jerry Robertson.
Yeah, he just was turning wheel in, putting wheel into it. Jeffrey was, and the thing finally snapped around when he made a little contact there. That, no harm, no foul here. He gets into the wall, and when he bounces off, nothing he could do about it. He just bounced off and got into Lewis.
And then Blake Feast in the 5 car was just a victim. Wrong place, wrong time.
It's a go or go home day today for him.
You could just see as he was in the throttle off turn 2, the car just broke.
Cars and getting to the front. Whoa, round goes 10-4.
Not like that. Ripples around.
Wow.
Keep digging there. Keep digging. Good job. Keep going.
Anybody, but the 38 car definitely got down underneath car number 58 there, and a Britt Sherman, and got into him, and that's what turned him around. Are driving like there's no tomorrow.
Did that car just snap loose?
It sure looked like it.
Okay, who just got by was our pole sitter, Casey Kane, in the 6 car, who was back.
Outside, Justin Labonte. Yeah, they get together.
It's just hard to run underneath somebody here, especially coming off of turn 2.
Now they're within about 20 laps that they'd have to make a green flag stop. I couldn't imagine that they will stay out there. Tires are fine. Fuel's the problem.
Yeah, no, I'd feel better about stopping now and hoping I got a lot of cautions. And
Scott Lagasse Jr. trying to finish this race.
It's a hard hit.
She just won't turn.
But we have safer barriers here.
Pretty low on the racetrack.
Like Casey Kane maybe in the 6 car, our pole sitter.
I think you're right, Larry.
Now what
going?
Nobody
way up in the front. Nobody
Greg Biffle, our leader, the 66 didn't get going.
Fire up a little bit. She was soft, and it blew it out.
Caution flags light up the night here in Phoenix. You're watching NASCAR on FX.
He's going to squeeze up between Paul.
Oh, there they go, right there.
There it is. J.J. Yaley, the 18.
No, it's the whole field. That'll be half the field right there. They're gone.
At least.
Daryl, I see.
Right in the middle. Come on.
There's not a car.
He had 11 cars.
You're all clear. You can keep rolling.
Got one on fire down there. It goes out, but
number 8.
Kenny Wallace has just looked at this. These cars are wrecking all in front of him and around him. He did get some right side damage because he got in the outside wall, but it could have been a whole lot worse.
You know, the best I can tell, 4 of our top 5 in points were involved in that wreck. The only one that was not involved is Clint Boyer in the 2 car. Came in here 3rd in points.
Behind Harvick, and you know, then all of a sudden we're turning to get into Yaley, unfortunately, and for his sake, and then it took a bunch of really good race cars. And that's a shame. You know, there's no reason to be running into each other this early in the race, and especially going straight. We're already 3 wide. I'm not sure 4 wide was the appropriate entry into the corner, but so be it, as some guys try it. It's really a shame, and it's a shame for all the cars that are taken out and all the guys that are in the points.
Gets up off the bottom just a little bit right there and opens the door. Tony starts looking under him, and they make contact. Sterling got a pretty hard lick.
Did you see LaJoy go all the way down through the grass? I mean, that's off-roading at its finest, that yellow car. He gets away.
But he keeps it out of trouble, I think.
I think what happened here that badly.
Watch Randy LaJoy. I can't believe this. Of course, he is from Connecticut. You get a lot of rain and snow up there.
That thing is just slip sliding away, baby. Out
this
into
is
the
where he was lucky, though, right here.
Yeah, he doesn't have much control over it right here, like he did have before.
Well, you know, all those years of driving the Merritt Parkway, it's got to help.
Like Boyer jumped out to the outside there. I'm not sure if there was contact that caused him to do that, but nonetheless, 43 car Pike, he just slides through.
He wasn't sure where to go, what to do.
Where's he going?
So now all of our top 5 and the
Check took 4 as Nemechek goes by Hamlin, or tries to.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Here we go again, boys.
And up and over goes Casey Mears.
What a day. I don't think I've ever seen I've been here, coming here for 30 years. I've never seen a day like this.
That was ugly. Hamlin got turned and squeezed up into 2 cars on the high side, one of which
87 car.
Look at the white lines. You see Joe move over.
Yeah. He just was trying to, I think he thought he had him cleared. Spotter may have even told him he was clear. Boy, that 38 car, Casey Mears, it took a ride right there. stayed on his lid, didn't start tumbling. That's one good thing.
And the good thing, Darrell, I never saw a car hit him after he was on his roof sliding.
Saw David Green involved. This is from Kevin Harvick.
That's amazing.
And he's one of the lucky ones, Strimmy.
160 some miles an hour. These cars are running 185, and the roof flaps do their job to keep that car from getting way up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, that all happened so fast, I don't think the roof flaps ever even had a chance.
No,
71, Kevin LePage involved. We did not count him as being part of this. They were racing for 7th.
Now, one thing I'll say about LaJoie's car is I look at that left front shock, that car started jumping up and down, and I think that had some effect on him getting into the back of LePage's car, 71. Must have gotten some air under the nose, and it started lifting the thing off the ground almost, if you take a look at it.
So under...
Ooh. Looks like he got a little help right there.
Robert Presley got in the back of him, but Darrell, this may have begun as the race started, or begun to develop as the race started, because for it's turned around there.
Looked like Mark Green in the 23 checked up, and then the 43 car,
it's
Kevin Conway got into the back of him. He was just up there where you can't be right now.
Michael Waltrip goes around, puts the corn dog into the fence. Ouch. Been doing a good job. He had gained a lot of spots since the start of the race. Here comes Shane Meal in the 32.
Boy, and you can see that. Look at the brake rotors on the 32 car. He's on the brakes hard. Paul Wolf comes down a little bit. 32 goes up a little bit. Contact.
At this time,
I don't know, Larry. So many cars right. I think some of these guys will stay out a while yet. 42 laps, and I'd be staying out, I think, right now.
The accident was triggered. Well, we'll call it an accident because that's a good word to use. Appeared to be triggered.
We go down into turn 3. Same place where actually the 6 car got spun out earlier by Shane Meal. Did pretty much the same thing to Reed here. Kind of cut down in front of him. Didn't give him a whole lot of room.
Darrell, I want to see another angle, but I think there's a difference in this case. I think by himself, well, not exactly. Had a little contact there with the 66 of Greg Biffle. Couldn't hold on to it. Spun it around. No apparent damage.
Too many 6s.
Yeah, 3 6s. That's a bad thing.
Not a good thing.
Yeah, 3 6s. We've all agreed up here. He's got the best car here. Oh, hard in the wall. Paul
He's
Wolf.
Gonna come back down the racetrack right in front of some cars. Denny Hamlin in the 20 just gets by.
I think damage. But that was what I've been talking about, putting that kid in that position where he's got to make moves that he hadn't had to make all night. And man, he is lucky right there.
Look at him starting to spin out behind him. Jimmy Johnson in the 5 is like a chain reaction.
Yeah, J.J. Yaley up there, who was having a great night. All these cars are running really well. Good pass so far, but then just not a. Jimmy had a whale of a run going down into turn 1. Yaley was up off the bottom ever so slightly, but just not enough room for cars racing off into turn 1. And again, you see the guy on the outside, almost like he chops down.
But it also looked like that 57 car, like we've seen a lot, got loose getting in the corner.
Got a little twitchy getting in. When you go on the outside of somebody like it, you can suck the back of that car on the inside around.
On this racetrack, and it's fast. 13 cars broke the track record. This was in practice. Justin Bonnie got in trouble on a single car run, as well as Tony Stewart in the 33 car, Shane Mill in the 32 car. These were all practice runs. Now this was in qualifying. Randy LaJoie in the 34 car, he had to go to a backup car, hit the wall hard. Look at this lick right here by Michelle Jourdain in the 10 car, hard in the outside wall. Denny Hamlin not only crashed in practice, but he crashed in qualifying as well. We had over 9 cars that was torn up in practice and qualifying yesterday in just single car runs.
And
they hurry.
Yeah, he's burning up the wheel, the steering wheel.
All by himself.
Yeah, down into turn 1 real hard. Car just didn't ever get it. He just came out from under him. I think if you watch, Jimmy Johnson comes along here kind of lurking along, trying to figure out where Shane's going to go. You see this roll bar come flying out of the back of the car here. The piece that holds the rear bumper in place. And there's Jimmy coming right there. And Not sure if he hit it or not. I think he may have hit it and knocked it down the racetrack.
Martin Truex.
Up, 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 and around she goes.
We've seen it how many times? We've
Just
already
got
seen it a
sucked
dozen
around.
times down in 1 and 2 already in this race.
So Mayfield slides up into Truex and pays the price.
All the way to the rear of the field. He's up in 5th. Elliott Webber gets loose and hits the wall. This should bring the caution out. It will bring the caution out.
Man, he just got behind. He got up behind Biffle, got arrow tight, and then it snapped loose. So many times, and up the hill he goes.
Right there in the middle of 1 and 2.
And who did he hit?
Paul Menard.
Poor old Paul.
Look at him splitting him.
Less green flags laps he's got to put on his too, the better off he'd be. But I see that 58 car just got pretty bad loose getting down into 1 and hopped up into the side of the 47 John Wood.
One more caution will tie the record. Speedway, Kyle Busch in the Lowe's Chevrolet, and they wrecked in turn 4. We saw smoke, and there's the volcano erupting, and it's Yaley.
J.J. Yaley in the 18 car comes within a quarter of a lap. Now remember
what happened was, yeah, you got a lot of these guys got a lot faster race cars than they do talents, and you know, we got stuck together there and riding down the racetrack. I'm trying to get back going straight, but you know, we just kind of hung up there. I was hoping to kind of brush them out of the way, but you know, it's just unfortunate for this Reese's Chevrolet. A lot of
great battle for 6. Holding up trouble. Brandon Miller, and he gets spun around. That was the 66. We talked earlier.
This is turn 3 and 4. So he just looks like he cut down a right front tire. Definitely a front tire because his car turns. Let's see if we can take another look at it. He's already up there right now. Loses control, makes some contact with the back and the front of the Great Clips, number 38. 6 on the inside. Let's see. There's the 23. Looks like Michel Jourdain maybe locked the rear brakes up. He saw some black marks as his car turned sideways. As you mentioned, he was really ahead of the Mark Green car, the 23 car.
To your left of your screen, see Michael is by himself. He gets loose, going to make some pretty hard contact with the outside wall. David Green made a pretty nice move to avoid him, and Greg Biffle made a nice move to avoid David Green.
You don't know if he had additional damage or cut a tire down from the damage he sustained.
Might get there, but make some contact with the back of the 58. Tim Fedewa, he made some contact with the 58, made some contact with Tim Fedewa. Tim turned around. He's going to back up into the wall here.
Yeah, Tim just didn't have anywhere to go in that particular case. And the 21 probably, you know, this few laps into the race may have been a little bit too aggressive there, trying to get in turn 1 this tight.
Looks like he just was all by himself and got sideways coming off turn number 2. Made some contact with the outside wall.
Boy, Clint Boyer did do an off.
On the inside of David Strimmy, the 14 car. That's actually his teammate. Looks like he gets a little bit loose. Has to chase the car. Stays off of David Strimmy, but around he goes.
That's turn 2. We talked about it again. With the addition of the safer barrier, you lost 3 more feet, but off turn 2, it can get tight through there, especially with cars running 2 lanes.
Stipples machine.
He'd committed to the inside of the 38 of Tyler Walker. Looked like he might have chattered the front tires a little bit. I'm not sure if Tyler came down a little bit or didn't realize that Greg was on him so quick or what.
That's around in turn 4, and then Scott Lagasse had to spin to avoid collision. You'll see him come into your screen just in a moment.
It's a great run going through the center of the corner.
Johnny Sauter needs a caution.
He's going to make some contact. Well, he got one.
Boy, I'm telling you what, depends who sees that. What's going to happen there? I mean,
I think
like
that was
that caution.
I think Tony
to the tri-oval, and here the 5 car goes down, makes contact with the 8.
Well, it looks like Casey Kane at 38 came up on the 5 really, really fast in the tri-oval, got the 5 loose, which happens here at Daytona a lot.
Carl Edwards
trying to pull a Tony Stewart
along for the ride. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yep.
But at least in all that mud, he couldn't dig in, right?
It's the wall. He says that he just continues to flat-foot it.
Marlin in the wall. Looks like he lost the right front.
That'll bring out the caution.
And
caution is out.
That's what we were talking about.
That's exactly why we said Truex should stay out there. Man, oh man.
Look. Boy, he got, something happened there, and Got tagged by Paul Menard.
Yep.
You can see the flames blowing out of the exhaust pipes of the 81 car of Earnhardt.
Here goes Edwards. You know, he did that in the truck race back here 2 or 3 years ago and won the race.
And he's going to slide up and get into him and turn him sideways and wreck him.
Wow.
Oh, wow. He's right.
I'll tell you what, though, these guys have done a good job avoiding
They really have
multi-car wrecks tonight.
Just fast enough to keep those guys. Oh, trouble! There's that caution I was talking about.
Several cars involved. This is coming out of 2 down the backstretch, and they're still wrecking. Well,
That's Randy LaJoy with a hood stuck up in the air.
Big one coming late. Bliss in the 30, LaJoy in the Dollar General got.
They were all going to the middle, it looked like, and
got hit by John Wood in the 47 car and just turned around.
Justin Labonte in the 44.
Denny Hamlin, the 20 car, just pushing the 47 down the racetrack.
Boy, Denny Hamlin had a rough start and a rough finish to this race. And back here,
Regan Smith and Jason Keller. Regan Smith in the 58, Jason Keller in 35.
going in side by side. You get loose on the bottom, there you have it.
And that just takes all the air.
It just takes all the air off the bottom car. That's why you got to be careful when you go into the corner side by side. You got to make sure there's room in between cars or you'll lose the air off the spoiler.
That was Brent Sherman, I think, that was on the outside of the Aaron Fight car.
And this is what we gave our command performance for. Justin Labonte got it started and Sorensen got through it.
Yeah, I mean, the 7 caught it and then he just got drilled again, and that was it.
I see he made a little bit of contact to the 14 car of David Strimmy as Strimmy drove by. In the corner on the inside of, oh, he just loses control, and up the racetrack he goes right in front of John Wood.
Wow.
I think he turned, it looked like he was turning under the 4 car to try to keep off of him. And that's a nice thing to do, but just got loose.
Just lost it. Just lost control and went up and just grazed the wall with the right front. Wow. How about that? The 41 car gets a little nudge.
And saved it. And Strimmy just looks like he got loose in the middle of all that.
Now he's in the inside of Casey Kane.
And Tim Fido's didn't like that move, so he's going to turn him off turn 4.
Wow. So Ryan Moore out of the race. He looks like he might be going after somebody.
Ooh, watch it. He's going to wreck again.
Yep, he just wrecked himself.
See, sometimes when you're going after people, you got to make sure that you can get to them.
Care Center.
So I don't know why he would be mad at the 25. If he was even mad at the 25. Unless this started further back. Look on their face when Dave came up to him. But oh, look out! Don't wreck that race car. Oh no, he's gonna. Oh, gotta hate that. Right now, not gonna do it, and that's gonna be even worse. On. Okay, hit the gas. Now at the wall. No. Well, he was loose forever. Loose getting into the corner, and then but he kept it off the wall, or did he?
Yeah. Just about caught Clint Boyer coming down the hill, though. Second place car. Watch the.
I can't tell from that angle. They were 2 cars very close. Underneath Kenny Wallace there, it just looks like he slid up into Kenny's left rear quarter panel and kind of spun himself around.
Boy, how did he not hit anything, too? He was headed for the outside wall in this start. 9th, 10th, and 11th. Michael Waltrip. Oh, trouble. Michael and Kenny Wallace.
Oh, man. Boy, it looks like Michael just drove underneath Kenny, and I don't. You see Rusty left your screen get turned.
Yeah.
And there again, when you're on tires like that and guys are behind you on better tires, you pick up the throttle differently than a guy on bad tires will. And we've seen that twice.
In the 2, and there we see Brent Sherman in the 10 gets into Boston Reed. they've checked up because of Paul Wolf in the 40 having spun and backed in the wall.
They get that right front fender on the 2 car a little bit. Did Sherman, when the 10 car spun, did he get that fender? Yeah, look at this. Is there some damage there?
Tony Stewart is trying to get on the inside of Boston Reed in 57. Makes contact, and Tony down through the mud, the water. Spins around right in front of the field almost. Let's see. See, the 56 car goes up and just runs in the back of Tony Stewart. And it's Carl Edwards that knocked the left rear tire off of Tim Sauter's car.
7 or 8 stories, so it's a lot of elevation change.
There we see Carlos Contreras, around he goes.
He just lost it.
Yeah. Joe Nemechek loses a spot too. Oh, he's got a car off in the. Two or 3 cars. 4. Is that Dale Jarrett that spun and. There we see Kobe Luck, the red nose, and
wow,
man.
Sterling Marlin in the 40.
It's the same thing we saw a minute ago. He went up to bump him, to bump draft him. The problem with that in a downforce car is your rear bumper is so high and your nose is so low, they don't line up. And when you try to bump draft a guy on a downforce track, that a lot of times is the result. We saw that happen twice. And I would bet you that that's a very good chance. There you go, right there. There's no question.
Wow.
Now, you know, there's a lot of things going on. You don't know what caused that tire problem, but being the worries.
So nothing but race car.
Zero's under him, and the 12 didn't go out to the wall.
Yep.
You know, the 12 didn't use all the racetrack, and wow, what an impact.
Got a little air there.
Curtis will feel that tomorrow.
12. Had it, lost it, spun it.
Kind of close it into that pit wall, didn't
Yes.
This was going down the backstretch into turn 3.
Goes in there, gets on the apron a little too much, possibly got the brakes up in the outside wall and win. I mean, that's a very tricky part of the racetrack, and he's just trying too hard.
Our first caution at Bristol.
Yep, got a touch there. 32 car. Number just got into the back of Randy LaJoie.
Oh, Bobby Labonte just got through it.
Yeah, this could have been a lot worse. It could.
Looks like J.J. Yaley is going to get punted by someone.
Tony Raines. And then Kyle had no place to go.
Sterling Marlin, the 40 cars involved. David.
And here he goes. He's got it up. He's got it up there. He's got it up.
Oh, Casey Kay got down on the apron trying to make the save. Spins it. Still no caution. Now it's out. Now the screen all by himself, around he goes.
Almost looked like what just happened to Casey Kane and Ron Newman. Like he may have been leaning on somebody's left rear.
Help from Junior, maybe.
Yep, exactly what it was. What was that?
JJ was trying to get down to the inside to follow the 6 car and avoid being freight trained, but came down a little too soon.
Oh, they're tight there. It's Jimmy Johnson in the 48 in front of him.
David Green behind him in the 27, and Jimmy goes down on the inside. He might have just touched the wall at the very end. I don't know. Can't really tell.
And even on the
Just 4 top 10s and 2 poles.
Whoa, that's what we're talking about. Easy.
So much speed here. You arc it down in there. You can see right there. Well back up on the straightaway. The car was already starting to come around with him and was loose.
It was so loose. Watch the right front tire. Next
Here in May in the 6 car.
Decent first lap, but boy, it gets away from on lap 2. Hard lick into the outside wall. His first lap was 21.67.
He's not going to get much room if he's going to get that spot. There he goes.
And guess what? He didn't hit anything.
No.
Already happened.
I see what happened to
Jason. Had nowhere to go.
Nope.
Yeah. And Kenny Walsh tried to squeeze through on the outside.
Yeah.
Up there to conceal that damage, but like you say, he's gonna. Oh, what's up, BP?
Trouble. Regan Smith, Jamie McMurray.
Never seen Aaron Fike in 43.
Not sure who he was racing, but he was just trying to keep off the left rear quarter panel.
You see the 25 car goes down and hits the inside.
It looks like he got turned way back there by Biffle. Like when they were still on the straightaway practically.
Tell you what.
Squeezed up into the wall.
And Mike obviously had no idea he was on the outside of it.
That's a wild ride.
Boy, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, he just got squeezed in there, and I mean, did it turn that car on its side? Through the fence, or up along the fence. I don't know how that thing didn't run all over. Well, I didn't throw the helmet, but
partner after the race. Championship leader pinched into the wall. A wild ride. It'll be an interesting interview when we come back. It's already underway there.
It got into Carl.
Well, guess what? We're under caution.
As he enters the corner, Larry, watch him. He starts down, all of a sudden he pulls it back up like he was going to cut the corner anyway. And again, away it went up the outside wall. And that's definitely a backup car is going to have to come
But you're
off
right. I'm not
33.
sure he actually got all the way down on the 8.
I don't think
he's taking the green flag down into turn 1 and 2. Tries to pick the throttle up right there. Car just got loose with him. You picked the throttle up so early here in the middle of the corner.
I was going to ask you, Larry, is that what that is a symptom of, getting on the gas too quick?
Well, it's a symptom of we've heard a lot of these drivers talking about it, having your car pretty free, pretty loose, where you know you've got a good driving car for tomorrow in the race when you untape that front end.
And he's training there.
And she lost about 10 spots. Oh, we got trouble coming off of 2 already.
Matt Kenseth is around a hard hit. Kenseth took a hard hit.
Oh, we got somebody on their head.
Donnie Nuremberg in 52 goes tumbling down the backstretch and then in the inside wall.
Sauter involved in it, and that
to hide when trouble breaks out here. If you're behind it, you're probably going to be in it.
Johnny Sauter goes to the bottom of the racetrack, and that turned out to be exactly the wrong place to be. Look at Nuremberger just flipping over the back of. Let's see what car that is.
Boy, John Wood
Tim
did a
Sauter.
good job getting through there. I don't think John got much damage, but here all these cars, they see what's happening. The 21 gets turned.
Michael Waltrip into the wall.
Yep. That backstretch, when they start wrecking back there, man, it is just, it's tough because a car can bounce in front of you just like it did Johnny Sauter. You see Sauter down there on the low side. I mean, it's just got nowhere to go. You can't get away from a wreck on the backstretch.
And we heard Sauter say on his radio, "We are destroyed," and he's right. They are hurt badly.
The ARCA season through July.
Whoa, boys, hang on. I saw the front end on that car right there. It just turned loose all of a sudden, Larry, and up the racetrack he went.
It's a hard lick right there.
Car said someone ran in the back of him.
I think he just lost it trying to avoid the crash that was happening in front of him.
It's Justin Labonte.
Just gets loose down the corner. He might have gotten into the apron. What do you think? Might have touched the apron with the left sides.
Loose by himself.
Yeah, sure does.
He had it saved 2 or 3 times.
So I guess he's angry at himself.
This is already underway when we get there.
I think when I was watching out the window, I think Paul was just up on the high side, and looks like the car just broke loose on him.
Sounded like his spotter said the 32 might have taken some of the air off the spoiler back there too.
They're really, I was just going to say, they're trying to wreck behind him, but they decided to.
Don't come back across the racetrack, Brent.
I don't think he wanted to. 32 looks like he just got loose and slid up the racetrack, and as he was correcting the car, unfortunately, Mike Wallace was on the high side. He got tapped in the left rear and took him out.
It's like Todd Bodine might have gotten a little help too. Ashton Lewis got a piece of it. Now look at the 2 crew.
For tonight's race.
Here goes another car. Randy goes.
And he had already completed 1 lap at a 29.79, which I think was going to be a decent lap, but he was attempting lap 2, seeing if he could pick it up a little bit. And in the turn 1, down to the bottom of the racetrack, you can see right there the wheels turn right, loose.
We need to get the backup car out, boys. We need to get the backup car out.
6 car just past Jimmy going in the corner. He goes in the corner and the right front tire loses the air, and when that happens, the car goes straight.
On.
Watch this. There's the bump from Denny Hamlin. He nails the gas. Drives down. Now he does one inside wall. Spins it, as Wally said, around a couple of times down the backstretch and puts her in gear and drives her away.
He was pretty busy there for a second, wasn't he?
He was. He stood on the gas. That was the best thing he could have done, though. And then he jumped on the brakes. Like BP said, he didn't want to run into that inside wall. But you can't get down on the apron on this racetrack.
Season end this way.
Yeah, it looks like he just drifted up into Harvick's left rear. Now the car pushed up the racetrack and took himself out.
And in trying to avoid taking the 21 car out, took himself out.
Another angle.
I'll tell you what.
That's the worst hit a driver can take. Because you're flat. Yes. He just, Carl Edwards went to make the pass on Sauter and didn't have him cleared, obviously. Caught the rear bumper of Johnny's car to turn him right into the wall.
Already underway.
I don't know. Looks like those 2 cars got together somehow going down in turn 3.
Looks like they're wrecking.
And they're definitely wrecking.
So the car.
Then they are side by side off of 2. He just gets loose up underneath the 10 car like I was talking about. When you're running so close side by side on this racetrack going so fast, you lose the air off your rear spoilers, especially if you're on the bottom of the racetrack. If you're the guy on the low side.
The ride begins.
And that inside wall we talked about earlier, not hitting Regan Smith when he avoided hitting the inside wall. That was a big deal. And I'll tell you what, that's a heavy blow.
And look at this. Kenny Wallace.
Oh, right in front of everybody. Earnhardt Jr. in the grass. Earnhardt gets into Tony Raines trying to avoid
And Raines across the track. It's David Green.
Man.
7th caution period of the night. Kenny Wallace trying to hang on to it. Couldn't do it. Junior gets clipped.
Boy, and David Green had open racetrack, and all of a sudden that 33 car came sliding across the grass.
You think it's all behind you at that point, don't you?
Yep.
Coming right at you. On board with Kenny Wallace.
Good.
And Tony Stewart by Biffle.
Biffle in the wall.
Boy, you know, his car was awfully loose down there.
84 points out of 2nd.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He cut a tire.
Caution is out.
That was a right front, though, that went down.
Yes, it was.
Man, you just hammer the wall.
So Harvick moves into
Oh! Newman slides up the racetrack into T.J. Bell.
Look out!
Wow. It happened going through the tri-oval.
I thought I heard a bang.
Yeah. We were all looking around.
Yeah. Boy, he fought that thing for...
Kept it off the wall. I mean, that
was the
doesn't
inner
count.
liner. Didn't the inner liner blow out about the time you hit the wall?
Yeah. We've seen it all night long. You get next to somebody going through the corner and you just get loose. Ooh. You're down on the bottom.
You just cannot keep the car from turning around.
A lot of Cup drivers watching going to figure out how they can pass on the high side tomorrow night. He's got enough race car in front of him, but the car just gets loose down on the bottom. We've seen it all night. Like I said, it's just then you're just along for the ride. Bad thing about it is Tony did this in front of the whole field. So all these guys are trying to scramble. Stremme thought he had some room down on the bottom side to get through, but he didn't.
J.J. Yaley was looking at a top 5. Stremme.
And just you lose the tail when you run side by side. When you're going that fast, side by side through the corner, the guy at the bottom is just the loser.
And we've already heard drivers say that tonight, that you cannot race out there side.
Been an interesting day for championship contender Clint Bowyer. This was in his qualifying run earlier this morning. Ouch.
We can see what might have happened to Travis. Yeah, not really. But there is some damage to the right front fender. Brent Sherman's right in the middle of all these cars. Now, how they all missed him is beyond me.
Got a little tap there from Stephen Wallace.
I think one thing that helped, he did get at least got up out of the way. You know, his heart sank when he saw that car directly in front of him.
Brakes, 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 brakes. Wow, did he just miss getting the back end of Easton's car, huh?
Sure did.
Oops.
Looks like there might have been some contact there between the two cars. Might have been some contact there. Yes, there was definitely contact with
Aaron Fike.
Aaron Fike in 66.
Yep.
Yeah, got in the back of 41, the 21 car.
And then it was on.
Kyle Krisiloff in 5 is involved.
Bobby East in the 46. Looks like Aaron side of the screen.
The 44 car, I don't, did he make contact with the 21 car?
Might have.
I can't.
It was an awkward looking spin, wasn't it?
It was.
Stephen Wallace involved in it.
Yes, around he goes.
Bill Elliott in the 6 got some damage. Well, you'd like to think there that Randy had a little brake trouble. But
say
no help.
No help at all.
Ah, our crack crew with a better look.
And lost the air on the spoiler and got sideways and wrecked.
And where did you say we'd see the most trouble today, Benny?
Well, I thought turn 2, but unfortunately that was turn 3 already. But the wind is blowing now. That's going to be a problem getting in that corner. That was taking a long time.
Good job keeping off the walls.
On the 3 wide.
John Wood.
Oh, John Wood gets into him. I see what happened.
Holy mackerel.
Man, that could have been big.
Martin Truex just dodged a huge bullet on that one. That doesn't get much closer.
No kidding. Matt. Oh, just a cane in the wall.
That's why Biffle caught him so easily. Caution flag is out. And Ryan Newman a lap down.
Yes, sir.
18th.
And not a lucky dog.
Correct.
Oh, I see.
Looks like Wimmer got sideways when he was underneath Foyt. And when he went up the racetrack, he just took Foyt with him.
And turned that 38 car head on almost into the wall. That was a hard lick. Miller in 61. We see A.J. Fike in 43 gets in the side of the Aaron Crocker in the 6th car, and Brandon Miller 61 comes off the corner, really nowhere to go. Track is blocked and runs into the 6.
Oh, Stremny was just in the wrong place.
All the way down into the 47. Thought I had to slow down. He ended up hitting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim, right.
On board with Tony Raines.
Go low, go low, go low.
31.63 puts him 10th quickest out of the 20 cars that have completed, but gets loose, getting into turn 1.
We got the fence, boy.
Now here's a scenario. He will have to go to a backup car.
To say the least, our points leader Mark Truex Jr. backs it into the wall.
And this was right after taking the green flag. He'll have to go to a backup car.
Exactly. They were too close going into the corner. The car on the bottom, I'm sure, got loose, and exactly what happened.
Why don't they listen? They have a different channel on their radio right now than ours.
Survey says.
Did you catch the apron there, maybe?
I think it's just like Wallace said, I think it's a little too close.
Alan?
He said that that one car took the air off of his car, and
looks like he prevented somebody else from wrecking.
Yeah.
Wrecked him.
Paid the price.
That's right. He was keeping that other guy straight, and the end result, he's in the wall.